Okay, so you're feeling fear. You're afraid of something that's going to happen in the future. You're afraid this person's going to break up with you, or you're not going to get this job, or you're not going to be able to pay your rent. And the fear is like a vice. And you want to know how to get out of it. You know somewhere inside of you that you're supposed to be living free of fear. That's just not what life is about. So watch this video and learn how to get rid of fear and to disappear it from your life. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves, the first thing we have to explore is why are we feeling afraid? So the whole thing is a bit of an optical illusion, fear, and understanding the optical illusionness of it is how you get out of it, right? So the first thing we have to understand is that fear seems like something that you're dreading that's going to happen in the future. But what people don't realize and don't get is that fear is happening right now. You're worried that you're going to have a bad feeling, and that's all we're afraid of. You're afraid that you're actually really afraid that you're not going to be able to have the feeling that comes up. So if you can't pay your rent, it's this terrible, awful, horrible experience that you're afraid you're going to have, and you don't want that, and so you resist it. And what most people don't realize is they're feeling that experience now. So let me give you the best example I can think of at the moment, which is my sister. My sister is a great mother, and she has two wonderful boys, my nephews. And her biggest fear is that some harm is going to come to them. Okay. So, so I'm talking to her about it and we're exploring it. And it's too awful to imagine for her. The whole idea of it just makes her want to shut down. And what she doesn't quite realize is that she's already living in that fear anyway. She's like pushing it down, but she's already in the pain of that having happened. And it's just getting mushed. It's just getting mushed, right? Um, and that's not, and so she's already in the pain now. It's doing it to her. And so it's the whole thing is a fake out. It's saying, "Oh, the future, the future, the future," while it's punching you in the stomach repeatedly now. It's like, "Look over there," right? So 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 learning how to sort of deal with this and walk through it. And the first time that I really started to understand how to break free from this was the woman who is now my wife was my girlfriend, and we had a fight. And this was 23 years ago, right? And I was like, that's it. It's not going to last. And I played the tape through. I went, okay, we're broken up and that's it. And it's all over. And I mourned it. And I had like a couple of weeks. And then we saw each other. And because I'd cleared out that space, it was all fine. The tension was gone and all of that, and we got back together. And it's hard to see from this example, but I have another example where it's like the energy of having let it go, of having already released it, made life work better. And so let me tell you the best example I've seen of this in my life. So I worked for very many years as a very high paid freelancer. And so I would only get hired for a month or two at a time because people just couldn't afford me to keep me on like all the time. And so I freelanced from different place, and I was always working, which was great. Um, and every so often, somebody would offer me full-time job. The problem is the reason they were trying to hire me full-time is because they wanted what I had, but they didn't want to pay that rate, and I didn't want to earn substantially less. And so what they offered me wasn't enough. So I went on this one job interview, and it was great. They were great, and they liked me a lot, and they said, "We think you're great." And they said, "We want to hire you." And I was like, "Okay, well, great, but it's not going to work." And they said, "How come?" And I said, "Well, you're not going to want to pay me what I want to get paid." And they said, "Well, how much?" And I said, "Well, it's going to cost at least 150." And they said, "Yeah, that's about what we expected." And I was like, "Whoa." And so we're like, "Okay, we're doing this." And I was like excited. And then I got attached. I went, "Hey, I got this job and this is great. This is steady and all that." Um, and I got attached and I started feeling tight and really wanting it, right? But I hadn't been. I'd been so loose because it didn't seem like a real thing. And so and so um and so then they called me. And they said, well, we're just really trying to decide if we should go ahead with this or not. And I was like freaking out. And so I started to pray. I said, God, I can feel my constriction was pushing it away from me. And like, this is very real. I mean, I could feel this happening real time. My constriction was creating an energy of them going, I don't know. So I said, hey, God, help me to surrender this. Help me just to give it up. If whatever, if it's going to work out, it's not, I got back into that surrendered place. They called me 2 hours later and said, yeah, let's do it. And so that energetic aspect is really real. We don't realize that we're pushing things away. And this notion of playing the tape through really makes a difference. So the best use of this that I've seen is, let's say you have an audition or a job interview and you're afraid about it, or you have a big conversation and you're afraid your girlfriend's going to break up with you. You've got 5 days to sit there and work with this energy of fear and play the tape through. Play your worst case scenario. Because the reason you don't want it to happen is you don't want to feel this terrible feeling. If you're feeling this terrible feeling every day for 5 years, you are acclimating to it. So if you could already feel it and bear it and deal with it by the time they say it or whatever, you're so what? You already know you could take the punch. And so you're not worried about it. And so you're loose and you're free. And the people that I've recommended this to, my clients and all of that, they say without a doubt, oh, I felt so different in that situation that I know that I normally would have. They can actually feel the difference that being with that fear and playing the tape through. So, how do you play the tape through? You imagine it like in the situation with my girlfriend. I said, okay, we're broken up. And I really mourned it. I really let it go. I really believed it. Or you're afraid you're not going to get the job. So you imagine, okay, you don't get it. And how do you feel? You mourn the loss of that job, and you sit with that every day until it loses its charge. And that's the biggest thing about all these feelings, all these things. As you sit with them over time, they lose their charge, they lose their power over you. Because what most of us don't realize is these negative feelings inside of us are creating realities. It is absolutely a truism that we create what we fear. So if you've got this fear inside of you, on some level, you're drawing that to you. And this is the best way to diffuse all of that. It seems negative. It seems like, oh my God, I'm putting this negative thing into the universe. But try it. I promise it works the opposite way. Okay. So, as you've been listening to this, I hope you're getting something from it. I would love for you to go down and like, and I'd love for you to subscribe if any of this content speaks to you. And I know for me, like I subscribe to somebody when I feel like I trust what they have to say, where I feel like they're steering me in the right direction. So if you feel that way, please go down and subscribe. But please at least hit a like if you've made it this far. And if you want to work with me, that could very well be a real thing. We could do that. The thing to do is go down and schedule in the link below, schedule a free one-on-one consultation with me. Usually, I can help you get down to the sort of core wound and the core thing that's holding you back within 5 or 6 minutes. We can spend a little time going into the feelings and showing you a bit how to release some of that energy. And then I also have a free community called Unblock Your Brilliance, totally free. So go down and we talk about how to work with these energies. So check that out too while you're down there. And listen, I hope to see you again soon. And good luck on your journey. Remember, you're always in the middle of a spiritual awakening, and it's happening right on time. Cheers.